Yeah.
Yes.
So and then finally we got the how to get the value here, and then finally we talk about this one. So then finally conclude this part. Okay. So this is W, and from equation here we can compute not this one. Actually there was equation alpha I into this alpha I and this equals to 0 minus 1 or something like that. So maybe I need to again move back to the some other slide. Yes. Okay. From there we can compute the value of B, and then and after we computed the value, then what we can do it. After we computed this value, then we can find the class level of the unknown object. Okay. So okay, so now what we'll do it, we'll learn through an example. Okay, so let's say what we got in last class. See, we had the objective function that needs to be maximized 2 by w, and then finally we got this one with this following constraint, and then we got the equation w equal to summation over alpha I yi xi. Along with that we had one more equation, that is I don't have, okay, I'll write in the next page. So here we had something called alpha I into yi wxi plus b minus 1 equal to 0. Okay, if you remember correctly, we had this one. Now suppose we have a set of training data, okay, that is coordinates of the training data or features. This is f1 and this is f2, x1 x2, and these are the yi, that is the class level. Okay, and then these are the given, but actually we need to find this value, that is the Lagrangian multiplier for the each sample. Okay, that is alpha I indicate for the each sample we need to find the what is called is the Lagrangian multiplier. Last class I talk about that Lagrangian multiplier value will be greater than equal to 0. So here it was another constant according to the KKT's constant. So it should be greater than equal to 0. And it is found that most of the cases this value is 0, but whereas the vector or the points which are on the decision line, so like this one, those vector is those points are called the support vector, and for those actually Lagrangian value is non-zero. Okay, so now what we have to do it, we have to find what is w. Okay, so w is nothing but this vector. Okay, w equal to summation over alpha I yi and xi, where yi is the class level, alpha I is the Lagrangian multiplier, xi is the training pattern. Once we compute it, then easily we can find from here, if alpha is not equal to 0, then obviously this should be 0, 1, this should be 0, and from here we can find the value of yi, and then we can easily find the value of b. Okay, so that is the objective in today's class, that how we will find the value of the decision boundary will find, and value of w will find. Okay, so here, okay, this is again same problem. Where is the blanks? Okay, so we had this slide. Okay, now let me write. Yeah, I can write. Okay. Yeah, so now what we have to do, we have to find the value of W equal to summation over alpha I y and xi. Okay, so it is a two dimension. So then what will be the value of W1? W1 vector is nothing but W equal to W1, W2. It has two component. Okay, now how do you compute the value of W1? What is the W1? W1 is equal to alpha I. What is the value of alpha I? This is the value 65.526. Okay, so 65.5261 into yi. Yi for this one is +1. So this is +1 into xi. Xi means that is the first one. Okay, so what is the coordinate of this one? So 0.3858. Okay, so 0.3858. Okay, plus this is for first, and we are talking about W1. For second sample, it will be 65.5261 into -1. Okay, into multiply it into this one 0.4871. So 0.4871. Okay, so can you calculate how much it will come? Okay, can you calculate? What is the value that Simran? What is the value?
I am calculating. 1 minute.
Minus 6.638.
Yes, sir.
So this is 65.5261 into minus 0.1013, right? So this is coming minus 6.65.
38.
So 6.64. Okay. So similarly, we have to compute W2. So W2 is again 65.5261 into +1 into the coordinate, this coordinate 0.4687. So 0.4687. Okay, plus 65.5261, because fortunately this is also the same value. Okay, so into -1 for second sample, and the coordinate is 0.611. Okay, so 0.611. So it is how much it is coming? So it is 65.5261 into this part minus 0.66. Okay, 0.468 minus 0.611. How much it is coming? So it is okay.
Minus 9.32.
Minus 9.3.
Okay, minus 9.32. It seems correct. Okay. So now we got the W1, W2. So vector is nothing but here minus, what is that? Minus 6.64 minus 9.32. Okay. So therefore, if you see this here, so this is the decision line minus 6.643 x1 minus 932 into x2 plus, okay, we have to compute this value, that is b. How do you compute the b value from here? Okay, so b is equal to 1 minus, okay, so 1 minus, what is the value of b? 1 minus yi w into xi. Okay, am I correct? So 1 minus w into xi into yi. So this is b. So now we have to compute the value of b. Okay. So what is this? I cannot handle it. It's blank, but still it is coming. So it has a format, I think. But I cannot delete.
You have changed the layout of previous slide. You have to change the layout of this slide also.
So I should go to layout. Next, what next?
Blank.
Blank is not working. Title only. Okay, this will work. Anyway, so now we have to compute the value of b. B equals to 1 minus w into xi into yi. That is, we learn right here, y minus yi w into xi. Okay, so this is equal to 1 minus w we know, and x1, xi means first one. For what will be the value of, so this is 0.3858. So 0.3858, this is multiplied with minus what? 6.64, let's say. Okay, plus minus 9.32 into 0.4687. Is it correct? So this is the coordinate of x1, this is the coordinate of x1. Okay, 0.4687. Okay, 0.4687 multiplied with the vector w2 with the component of second component, that is minus 9.32, and this one, and yi is 1. Okay, so therefore what will get this value? Can you calculate it? So here what is the value? How it is coming positive? Okay, yeah. What is the value?
11.19.
No. So okay, let me do it. Here is coming 6.64 into 6.64.
The 7.92.
Yeah, it seems to be correct. So 7.92. Okay, how much it is coming? 1 minus 0.38 into 6.64 multiplied into 6.64 into 0.3858. So this is coming 2.5617. Okay. So this is also minus. Okay. Let me do it here. 9.32 into 0.4687. So this is coming 4.368. So approximately 7.92, right? 6 point something, 6 plus 7. Okay. So this is for the first sample. Similarly, for the second sample, it will be 1 minus W into xi yi. Yi is minus 1. And this is the second sample, right? So second sample into W. So second sample is 0.487. So here 0.48771 into minus 6.64 plus 0.611 into minus 9.32. Okay, so how much it is coming again? This is according to this calculation, it is coming 7.9289. Okay, so now you take the average. So average you can consider is 7.93. Okay, so therefore here is coming B is 7.93. So this is the decision line, and this equation is the W1 into X1 into W2 into X2 plus B equal to 0. So this is the decision line. Okay. Now thing is that what we want to do it, we want to find the class level of an unknown object. Let's say this is the class, this is the object. I want to find the class level. Let's say coordinate of this object is 0. Whatever 0.8 0.8 and let's say 1. So what will be the class level of this one? What will be the class level? So here W is found and B is found. Then what we have to do? If we do the dot product and if it is greater than equal to 1, so then it is 1, otherwise it is less than minus 1. Okay. So here is in the last class also I talk about another thing. So that is, yeah, if you remember correctly, so I said key class level will be sine of W into X plus B. Okay. So if this is equal to positive, then it is a positive class, otherwise it is belong to negative class. Okay, so now we got the W 0.6.64 minus negative 9.32, and we got that is Z is the new vector, so here is Z. Z is what is that, 0.8 and 1. So what will be the class level? Can you find out? So we have to put it here. So what will be the class level? What is the class level? Are you there or you left? Or class is too slow. Hello?
Yes, sir.
Are you there?
Yes.
So what will be the class level? You have to speak now. You compute and speak.
So -1.
So -1. So that means W dot X plus B. B is 7.93, right? And W is equal to minus 6.61 into 1 plus is what is the value? No, why?
9.8. So that
So
will be
that's
0.8.
so it is 9.32 into 1, okay, plus this is minus 6.64 into 0.8, okay, plus 7.93. So this will be negative, right? So then class level will be negative class. Now let's say if 0.8 and 0.1, so what will be the value? It is the same thing, so here it will be 0.9. So I think this will be positive. This will be positive. Okay. Now if you go back the equation here, okay, this slide. So 0.8 and 0.1. So this may be the 1 point. Another we are talking about the point somewhere here. Okay. So obviously they are opposite to each other. So they are saying is circle is a negative class and this one is a positive class, right? So we can identify the class level using this one. Okay. So I think we have spent a lot of time on support vector machine. So we want to finish by today. Okay. So now whatever you are talking about, so that is the, we say is the linear support vector machine. We are continuing with that. Decision boundary depend only on the support vector. As I said, key decision boundary depends only on the vectors. Vector means the points which are on the decision line. Okay, that margin, that gutter. Okay, so those are the basically the support vector. Now, if you pour more data or other region, it does not affect the support vector. So therefore, decision line will remain same. Okay. Okay, this is done. Okay, this is we talk about. Now what next? Which slide? Yeah. Now what happened? The scenario is like that. Some of the green here, green square is appearing in this region. Okay. Similarly, some of the circle is appearing in this region. Okay. So now we had a decision boundary in earlier case is somewhere here. This is decision. Okay. Now if this is the scenario, obviously we are not going to get this line because this line is not separating the positive sample or negative sample. Okay. So there is some problem with the few points where is actually crossing the decision boundary, even this margin also. Okay, to capture this aspect, we need to change the objective function little bit. That is, we will be talking about here. Okay, still the support vector machine is linear. Okay, so here is actually we can get some kind of line, say. So in that case, we need to change the equation little bit here. So what will be the earlier we had the subject to constraint is w dot xi plus b greater than equal to 1. Okay. But what we found is this one is this line. Okay, this is positive one and this is negative one. Okay. So, but some of the points are moving this one and some of the points here is coming. So therefore the line, wherever we fix it, there is some problem. If we shift this line little bit here, then we can get the right line for the positive class. Similarly, for the negative class, wherever we fix the line, if we move away the line towards the positive class, then we may get the line something like that, and then we can get the right line. So this is the assumption. Okay. So now what will happen? So now our objective function will change it here. What we do it for a positive sample, whatever the line greater than equal to that should be towards to the center. So therefore there is a positive constant xi that should be negative. On the other hand, for a negative sample it should go away from the center. So therefore whatever the value earlier, it should be -1, but it should be lesser than the more than -1. So therefore positive constant is added in the equation here. Okay. So therefore we need to minimize the first part, that is no doubt, and with the subject to constraint is this part. But along with that, what we have to do it, see, if we do like that, so then there is maybe chance that it will include this line will come somewhere here and this line will go somewhere here, so we'll have a huge margin. Problem is that then the many points will be misclassified. To reduce that misclassification, what is done is, so we count for how many Z, that is the misclassification penalty, how many Z we are doing so, and to restrict it, we put a constant that is C. So therefore, we change the entire the objective function here, and then we'll do for the same way we found the Lagrangian, we do the same way, that is the what is called we'll use the Lagrangian optimizer, and therefore this L will change here. So therefore what we will have to do it, some computation. Okay, so Lagrangian will change here. So here, okay, it seems okay, let me try once more. Yeah, no, I don't know. So this will be LP, so it will change half of W square plus C summation over ji I, so I equal to 1 to n, so this is the constant, minus summation over alpha I yi w xi plus b minus 1 plus ji. Okay, so this will be from here. Okay, so and then there is another term with there here, mu I ji I, because this should be the greater than this should be a positive value. Okay, so this should be 1 to n. So therefore entirely that objective function will change, but interestingly what will happen, we can see that our objective function, if you derive it, so finally what we'll get it here, that w will be summation over I equal to 1 to n alpha I yi xi. This will not change. Okay, but what will happen, that constant will be something plus mu I. That constant will be restricted. Earlier what will happen, and alpha I is greater than equal to 0. Okay, so this alpha I is nothing but the multiplier, that is Lagrangian multiplier. Earlier it was lambda I greater than equal to 0. So now this constant will be restricted by alpha I plus mu I. Mu I is another constant. Okay. So these details you can get in the book, that is data mining book by the Bipin Kumar. Okay. So I am not going in detail. So finally the solution is that we will get this type of constraint, and then again we have to compute the B. So B will be little different here. Okay. And then once we compute the B, then we'll have the same equation, that is W into what is called W into Z plus B of sine. Okay. If it is positive, it is a positive class, otherwise it is a negative class. Okay. So that is for the even the sample which are linearly separable. Okay, but there may be a scenario here. If you see these are the, say, one positive class, and this is another class here. Okay, so this is another class here, and then we have another class here. Okay, so in that scenario what will happen, so we won't get a line which will separate, or hyperplane which will separate the positive sample and negative sample. So in that case actually it is not the line or hyperplane, we'll get a decision boundary. Okay, so which is non-linear. Okay, so in that case what we had to do it, still we can get a decision line which is linear if you project this sample into the some higher dimension. Okay, so here decision line is something like that. So this is a equation of circle. Okay, if it is outside, so it is a positive some class, otherwise inside it is a other class. Okay, so if it is greater than, so it is a square, otherwise inside it is a negative class. Okay, to solve this problem, what is done is we project these all sample into some higher dimension. So here we have 2 dimension. What can be done, we can introduce 1 2 3 4 5 dimension. And what we can do it, x1 can be projected as x1, x2 can be projected as x2. Apart from that, we can introduce 3 more dimension where the value of that particular dimension will be depending on the input value, that is x1 x2. So this is something we are saying ki we are mapping the input features into some higher dimension features, and then if we plot it, then what will happen, we'll get a line like this one, and then we can separate the positive and negative sample. So therefore our decision boundary will be different. W, earlier we are doing the dot product directly with the x. Instead of that, what we do, all the sample will convert to the some higher dimension, and then we'll compute the value, and then if it is 0, then that will be the decision boundary. Okay, so that is something called theme of the non-linear support vector machine. Okay, so therefore we will have a objective function will change. So margin will be, we have to reduce, but what will happen, subject to the constraint is, it is wi into earlier equation what we did it, w into xi plus b greater than equal to 1 for the all sample for xi yi. But here, because we are converting the, or we are transforming the sample into some higher dimension, so therefore we put the phi xi. So phi xi is doing this work. So now if we formulate, so this is all details of the formulation. So here Wi earlier was lambda yi xi instead of xi it will change to phi xi. Okay, and then obviously it will have a same thing. Okay, we'll get the same issue here, so we can compute w, and then finally the sign will be sample will be, if any new sample come, we have to convert to the higher dimension, and then we'll have the dot product, and then we'll put the sign. Okay, if it is positive, so then it's a positive sample, and if it is negative, so it is a negative sample. So in summary, what happened if it appears that there is no linear boundary to separate between the positive and negative sample, what it can be done is that entire feature space will be placed and transformed to some higher dimension, where obviously we'll get the a linear line that separate the positive sample and negative sample. So therefore this will change W into phi x. But interestingly, what is found that is something called the kernel tricks. Okay, so this computation, that is dot product of, okay, so what I was saying ki we need to do the dot product with W into phi z. Okay, so phi z is nothing but that T is the transformation of in higher dimension for the input sample as well as the test data set. But it is found that we no need to this dot product. So we can generate a function which will do this dot product in the higher dimension. So in summary, we no need to go for transforming each and every sample to the higher dimension, including the test data set, but we will have a function which will transform this sample into the higher dimension. So that is something called the kernel ticks. Okay, so kernel ticks, what we had to do it, we had to take the sample and then transform using the phi another function, and then another sample, that is, let's say, test data set, and again we have to transform that one into the higher dimension. So instead of after transforming doing the dot product, what we can do with the original sample space, that is the input xi and kj, we may have a function that will be the equivalent or exactly the same as after transforming and then doing dot product. So therefore this k is called the kernel function. And there are popular kernel function, that is something, this is something called the kernel ticks. These functions are popularly used. So instead of having the dot product, because as we know that for finding the class level we should have the dot product for W into dot product of the two unknown pattern. Okay, sorry, one is unknown pattern, another is the input pattern. So instead of doing so, what we can directly use, we can put this function here, and then we can get a this is something called polynomial kernel. This is called the Gaussian kernel or RBF. Okay, and this is something called the tangent function. So these three are popularly used for replacing the point into from lower dimension to higher dimension. Okay, so this is one example. So that's all for support vector machine. Okay. So last few, maybe second part of today's class, maybe you may not understand very clearly, but thing is that you need to read a little bit from the book. So, but basic idea is that if you don't get the linearly separable data, in that case you need to transform the data into higher dimension, but you don't need to do that one also, because there will be a function, is called the kernel function, which will do this task. Okay, so with that I stop today's class, and hopefully I can give you a around 2 hours new lecture on this topic. So that will be uploaded into the YouTube. Till now, what you do is you, whatever I taught, you have the record and you can go through that record. Okay. So as you expect, obviously there will be question from this part. So therefore there is no choice, you have to study this part also. Okay. So if you have a doubt, please let me know. Let's see how much I can clear your doubt.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Sir, the previous part where the objective function changed to by putting a constant and then the sign of the w vector dot z plus b, and this decision boundary both are same or this are different? I mean, if the problem is not linearly separable.
So you want to say is the final W is coming? Yeah, it will come same. If you reduce it, okay. So this will be the, okay, I think, yeah, this one.
Yeah, so this this decision boundary problem and the linear, I mean the data is not linearly separable, and the previous one
No,
which
data is linearly separate. This is little different. You see is alpha yi, but there is a transformation of xi. Okay. So, but thing is that when you decide the what is the class level of the object. So in that case, what you have to do, you have to use this equation, not this w. Okay. In this example, I showed directly you multiply with w, but ultimately you have to use this equation. Okay. What is there in equation? Alpha yi, you get it. Alpha is the Lagrangian multiplier. And for this part, what is this part? This is the unknown object, and this is the dot product of the unknown object with the all object in the training data set. Okay, which has the lambda is greater than 0. With those only you do the dot product. But ultimately no need to do this dot product, because this will replace a function that is k. Okay, so that is a polynomial kernel or whatever it is. So this is the function of xi and z. Okay.
sir.
So you need to understand how it is working. Okay, and for exam purpose, if it is given, obviously it will be said ki you use the polynomial kernel or RBF, and obviously Lagrangian multiplier also will be given, because it is not possible to find the Lagrangian multiplier. This is a computational task. Okay, so for exam purpose I am saying, but you need to understand how this works. Okay. So that is the important. Otherwise, you can easily you can use Oika or any package. You obviously will get the decision boundary. You will get the results. But you should know that how actually it is working.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Sir,
Yes.
sir, from where we can practice those situational questions which are given in exam? The similar type questions from where we can practice.
Okay, you can use the data mining book, Bipin Kumar. There may be some also questions, right? You can use that.
Okay, sir.
That is sufficient, I think. There may be some numeric, you can do it. But you should understand thing is such a way that you can this type of problem you can able to solve. Okay then. So I stop it here. There is something also along with this condition, but I am not going. Maybe I am skipping one page. Okay. If you are very much interested, you can go through the book. So data mining book by Bipin Kumar is sufficient for this support vector machine. Okay. So with
Okay,
that, I stop today's class.